Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Arie here, and today we are going to be discussing what types of stores are the best to create when it comes to Shopify. Now, this is actually a pretty highly requested video, and I think it's mainly because when it comes to somebody that's looking to start an online business, it is very difficult to decide which sort of path to take, especially when there's so many successful e-commerce brands out there. So this video is gonna give you a real clear sort of path to follow. We'll have a real nice discussion with real examples of stores that are completely crushing it in basically every single store type. So not to spoil the whole video, but it really doesn't matter what store type you follow. Everything really works, and anybody who's trying to sell you on a specific type of store or any sort of secret technique, sorry to break it to you, but it's most likely just a marketing tactic to get you to buy a course or something like that, because everything can work. At the end of the day, it's just up to you which path you want to follow and which path makes the most sense to you. So with that said, let's just hop right into it. Before we do, however, make sure that you drop a huge like on this video. I did some research for this to find some stores that will serve as really good examples. And of course, I love making these videos, so it's not really a time sacrifice in any way, but I do appreciate every single like that you guys give my videos. It helps them out a lot, and that's really the only reason why I mention it. But as you can see on my screen, I have a bunch of different stores here pulled up, and the great thing about all of these stores is that basically all of them are drop shipping. And the reason why I chose these stores in particular is because, in my opinion, drop shipping is the most lean way to start an online business, especially in 2020. And the main reason why is because you don't have to buy any inventory. You can actually just ship things directly from your manufacturer and not have to hold inventory, which is actually a huge advantage, especially for someone who's just starting an online business, right? However, I will say that even if you do already have an existing store or brand or whatever business you have, this video is still gonna be hugely helpful just from the discussion that we'll have and the examples that I'm gonna give you in case you do wanna start a different brand or for just things to apply into your current business. So the first thing that we have to cover is, of course, the different store types. And honestly, there's no rules to the types of stores that you can make, but the most commonly known ones are general stores, niche stores, and one product stores. And I'm not gonna lie, from my own experience, I've never actually had a general store. I've only ran niche stores and one product stores. And the main reason why is because I've always approached every store basically with a branding goal in mind. So maybe some of you loyal subscribers remember a store called Trend Cove. Trend Cove was a store that I created for basically a $0 to $1,000 a day challenge way back in the day. This was over a year ago. And Trend Cove was really a one product niche store. And I know that sounds confusing, but I sold a portable fishing rod on that store. And while that store only really sold that one product, I named it Trend Cove so that in the future, if this was a successful product, and I could create other products to add to my product line and, just sort of make the brand bigger and bigger. Of course, this was only a challenge store, but it was a hugely successful store, and it really was kind of what launched my YouTube channel back then. So that was cool. Let me know if you remember that store in the comments. I'm really curious to know. And of course, ever since then, I've only really had niche stores because I've wanted to build these stores into brands. Now, a lot of you guys probably know that as far as dropshipping goes, some of the biggest stores are actually general stores. And while that has always been the case for a long time because they can just continue to test new products all the time, I have some examples here of stores that are actually not general stores that are getting bigger results than any other general store I've seen, except for like Amazon and maybe Inspire, Uplift. But I think the reason why is because general stores, while they are convenient for testing products, they're extremely difficult to brand. The different types of products that you offer are not going to be congruent, so it's going to be hard to build a brand out of it. So your margins may be slimmer and your returning customer rate may be a lot lower because of it. So it is kind of a difficult business model to pull off, even though, of course, if you can pull it off, you can build a hugely successful business out of it. Many people have. But my point is, it's not really the best thing to do for a complete beginner. So here we have, for example, Hygo. This is a very, very popular general store here that drop ships, and they've been around for a very long time, like literally years. So that's actually why I chose it as an example, because when you've had a store that's been around for years, your valuation goes up exponentially, and you can actually get a really good exit on your business. So this business for sure has been around for years. I've used them for an example in previous videos. And if we take a look at their traffic that they're driving, they're actually getting very, very consistent traffic, about 150,000 monthly visitors, which is very impressive. They're definitely pulling in 6 figures a month from this store. And it's really just a gift shop and like gag store, if you could categorize it as. They just sell a bunch of different like nifty products, very, very low margin things. But still, they're hugely successful, and it's really cool to see how they've been actually able to brand a general store effectively. It's super cool. So this is a great general store example. Now here's another general store example, Blue Crate. This is another hugely popular dropshipping store. They've been around for years, and more so in the past year, they've been kind of not doing so well. But as you can see, their traffic is very, very consistent. And I'm sure that they've, managed to make this super profitable even at this level of monthly visits. So, I got to give it to them. They've been around for multiple years. So I'm sure their business is really, really valuable. And similar to Hygo, they've been able to successfully brand a general store in a really cool way. Judging by their new products, they've definitely been diving deeper into print on demand, which is sort of another business model that you could consider separate from the ones that we're talking about here, but not really, because you can make print on demand stores in a particular niche as well. It doesn't have to be just general stuff like this. This is actually a really cool way to do print on demand. So yeah, they've sort of shifted gears towards print on demand, which I really like. I actually find print on demand to be a really attractive business model, because you can leverage the drop shipping method of fulfillment, aka not owning any inventory, while still being able to have a really high quality service with fast shipping and stuff like that through, different sort of print on demand suppliers. In fact, I'm currently working on a small little print on demand brand. It's just gonna be a fun little project tied in with my YouTube channel and Instagram. I'm actually wearing one of the hoodie samples that I got. It just says connecting, and then it has some clouds. I'm honestly probably gonna get rid of the clouds, and I'm gonna make this embroidered font a little bit better. It's just gonna be a cool little side project. Let me know what you think of that design idea. I really just wanna make the perfect hoodie, because I wear hoodies all the time, and this says connecting. And I think that word in itself, or phrase, I guess, just really represents everything I'm doing as a person, honestly. Like, just my life goals is just to continue to build communities like this community I've built on YouTube or on Instagram, or the communities that I'm building for my brands. Yeah, so it's just kind of a good representation of all of that, and I want to put all of those things into just one hoodie, if that makes any sense. But that's besides the point. That's sort of the general store business model, and hopefully these were really good examples of that. But like I said, it's not really the one I would recommend. However, if you do find it really appealing, definitely give it a try and judge from your own experience. Now, I want to move on to this niche store that I found recently that is getting some of the craziest results that I think I've ever seen from a dropshipping store. And this store is called Pearl Feet. And as you can see, all they do is sell shoes. So they're in the shoe business, and they have a ton of different shoes, but they're all very congruent product images. So that definitely is a plus, and they've done an amazing job. They're very open about their shipping times, and they're running actually a pretty cool business. Their shoe prices are really, really reasonable. And even though, I'm sure their margins are pretty slim because of size exchanges and stuff like that, let me show you how much traffic they're generating. So as you can see, in the month of April, they generated 7.74 million visitors to their store, which is just unbelievable. I've never seen numbers like this from a dropshipping store. That definitely made them at least $8 million in revenue, which even at a 10% margin is still almost $1 million in profit. So this is unreal, honestly. I can't believe they were able to scale this quickly. Going from 500,000 monthly visitors at the beginning of the year to almost 8 million. This sort of scaling is only possible with dropshipping. If you had to hold inventory, this would not be possible. But that's pretty unbelievable. They're just completely killing it in not a very unique niche. I mean, shoes, there's so many shoe brands out there, yet they're still able to crush it completely. So this is a great example of a niche store that is just completely crushing it, bigger than any general store even that I've seen in the dropshipping niche. And this is a good example, for me at least, why niche stores are my preferred way to do things. It just has a way more branded feel, and I feel like the upside is much bigger. Even though you can continue to test new products with a general store, you can do the same thing with a niche store, right? Like, look at how many different products they have within the same niche. I think that helps them out a lot and is a big reason why they're able to grow so fast. Another example here of another dropshipping store that's completely crushing it in a particular niche is the store called Cup She. If we take a look at their traffic, they're generating 2.1 million monthly visitors consistently, which is actually unbelievable. That means they're at least generating $2 million in revenue. All they're doing is specializing in swimwear. So they're taking this niche, and they do have other clothing, I guess, but it's all related to beachwear and just swimwear in general. Now, I did check their delivery tab, and this is why I think they are a dropshipping store. Their shipping time's 6 to 9 business days after processing, so they're probably shipping out of China, but if not, either way, they're still a huge brand, and they're still a good example as to the types of niche stores that, you could potentially build. Now, of course, I do want to make it clear, if you already have an idea for a product, for example, and, you just don't really know what niche it falls into, or you don't really want to make a niche store, you just have this like invention in mind or something along those lines, you easily could create a one product store around it. That's actually probably the simplest in terms of logistics, is a one product store, but you are limited to that one product, so you need some good marketing skills to be able to sustain that product for the long term, but it is a great starting point, and that's exactly how I started the Trend Cove store. And honestly, most of the brands nowadays that we do is just by starting with one product and building upon that product as time goes on. So that's why I don't like naming my stores around my product. I think it's best to name your store something a little more ambiguous so that you can actually create other products in the future. BlendJet is a good example of a one product store. They've been around for years now too, and they're at about 500,000 monthly visitors, which is super impressive, don't get me wrong, but it is not at the same scale as some of these other niche stores that we're looking at, and it's because their product range is really small. They only have this one product, so it is a lot more difficult to scale it up past a certain point. But of course, they're doing insane numbers as it is, so I'm not trying to downplay their success or anything along those lines. I'm just kind of explaining why a niche store has higher ceilings. Now, one last niche store I want to show you is this one called Arcticture. Kind of a weird name, but they've branded it really well, and they've been able to scale very quickly. As you can see, in February, from 40,000 monthly visitors to above 200,000 monthly visitors. And the reason why they're so successful, even though they're drop shipping, is that they have really congruent product images, really well branded store in general, and it really focuses on a particular niche. Even though it has a ton of different product categories, it's within one niche. They're not gonna be selling fake AirPods in the store, for example. So basically what I'm trying to say with all these examples is, of course, start whatever store feels right for you, but start any store that you start with a branding mindset. So make sure that you're willing to turn this store into a brand. I always advocate for building brands. I think that is the most sustainable way to run an e-commerce business. The longer you stick to something, the more you learn and the more you're able to grow it. So just make sure that any sort of store that you start with a long-term intention. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. Let me know of any sort of questions you may have. If you enjoy these videos as much as I do, make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more. I post every single week, and every single video that you watch from me is gonna have some value in it, I promise. And like I said, I have a lot of fun making these videos, and I really appreciate all the support that you guys give me. If you want to learn more about my education brand, I'll leave a link in the description. It's called NetSphere, and it basically is a course, but it's a little more than just a course. It's actually like a community. So it has a full course in it around e-commerce, and it's $29 a month. So I made it a really low investment, because the goal for this brand really is to help as many small business owners around the world as possible. And if I charge $2,000 for a course, that's not really gonna help many people, and chances are it's gonna take away from some of the money that you would have invested into your brand, and I don't wanna do that. I just wanna build a really high quality community of people with accessible, in-depth information. And of course, I do provide some sourcing agents that I've worked with to expedite your shipping directly from China so that you don't have to hold any inventory. So yeah, it's the NetSphere community. It's a pretty cool thing I've built, and I'm really happy with how much we've grown and the community that we've built within it. It's just super cool. So make sure you check that out if you're interested. And that's basically it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you in the next one. Peace.